Welcome to Mana's Potion. My name is Mitchell, but you may call me Mana. Today, I've come to you with yet another brutal brew. For Dark Souls, one of the more brutal of game series. We have to start the From Software franchise somewhere, and this makes for one of the better starting points. It's either that or shell out a cartoonishly large lump of cash for a PlayStation 5 Pro, and frankly, that's not gonna happen. It would be rude of me to stand here claiming I'm tall while on the shoulder of giants. Far from the first one to do this challenge, so to answer the question posed by the title, yes, you can in fact beat Dark Souls with fist weapons only. And here are some cool folks who did this run already, and some smaller folks who also did this run. If you're here for that, wondrous! Like, comment, and subscribe. But for the rest of us, how does the story unfold? And what words of whimsy will I use to fill the gaps? Can you beat Dark Souls with fist weapons only? Okay, I'm going to keep the rules simple because they're pretty self-explanatory. Use fist and fist weapons to beat the game. Nothing else is allowed to be held in the palm of the hands. No cheating or exploits. Get it? Got it? Good. So let's talk strategy. There's no starting class to get a fist weapon proper from the start of the game. Loosely speaking, the Pyromancer has the Pyromancy Flame, but let's be real, that's a tiny spark being emitted by the hand, and magic is more a brain thing, not a smack it until it dies thing. So we have no choice but to pick the starting class with the best odds of survival, so good health, good stamina, and good strength and dex. Beyond that, focus strength and dex through the game, focus vitality once the soft cap is hit, and bump up endurance as needed. Since our first weapon option is behind the Tauros Demon, or through some clever routing, we'll take the Master Key, which begs the question, how many options of fist weapons will we have through the game? 4, and we'll only be using 2. I'll talk about the options as we come to them. Oh, did I say we only have 4 fist weapons? Because I meant to say 5. Say hello to bare knuckle fighting! It sucks! Coming in at a whopping 20 damage each swing with 0 scaling! How does that fare with the tutorial boss? Oh, so we'll be here for a while, smacking the Asylum Demon around. We make our way through the Asylum and pick up some Sunny D. Don't I know you from somewhere? Say hello to Triple B again, and sit there for a solid 10 minutes, slapping his jiggly bottom until he finally says the safe word and leaves. And with that, the run can finally begin. Oh, God. Ah! Okay, is it done? Alright. So instead of routing through Undead Berg to cut through Dark Basin and then get to Undead Parish, let's take a scenic route. But first, gotta look good. Ah, yeah. Okay, we'll go through New Londo Ruins, cut through the Valley of Drakes. This is why it's pronounced Wyvern and not Weavern. Hiccups aside, we take the elevator to Darkroot Basin and slash through gardens, and find ourselves in Undead Parish. Time to meet the first weapon and primary tool of destruction, the Caestus. Caestus? Ceastus? Ceaseless. Punchy gloves, or PG for short. They scale middlingly well on strength and dex equally, so it's important to level both up to make the most out of these gloves. Upsides? Very low stamina cost and fast-ish attack speeds. Downsides? Range. But you probably could guess that. With unupgraded gloves in tow and a red tearstone ring on my pinky, I warp back to Firelink and begin the journey properly. So what are we looking at damage-wise with the gloves? That's not great. It's not awful, but certainly not great. We can work with it. Through the abandoned streets of the Undead Berg, we completely ignore the fact that a dragon could have easily eaten us. He's not a boss, so he's safe. For now. And say hello to the weak early game and did you just super speed jump to me? Okay, weak is inappropriate. I swear I don't remember Dark Souls being this hard. As I was saying, we clean the place out and arrive to the first of many true bosses of the game. Let me just take out the crossbowmen and... Really? Take 2 then. The Tauros Demon! This guy is a brick wall for many a player of Dark Souls. Hell, he stonewalled me the first time I played this game properly back on Prepare to Die edition. Anymore though, he's just kinda... Okay, I can see I need to derust. Took more tries than I care to admit, but he eventually goes down. Just gotta stay light on your feet and groove to the beat. No cheating at boxing necessary. We cross a bridge made rather spicy by a passing dragon. You're lucky I'm in a generous mood today. Perform unlicensed veterinary work as we enter the parish, and meet up with Andre for the second time. Just now on the intended route. Open up the shortcut to Firelink, free a convict, then accidentally start the Belfry Gargoyle fight. Well, I had a plan, but, well, It's not a big deal. It's not like fighting 2 enemies at a time is hard. I really just got the strongest sense of foreboding. Right. Mistake corrected and bell rung. Now to go pick up something important. My reward from the convict.
Let's not be too friendly now.
Okay, I won't. What? He was a convict. Plus, I'm not going to say no to free HP, stamina, and load capacity. 2 hours of lost footage later, joining the Forest Protectors Covenant, the Moonlight Butterfly, Capra Demon. Look, I had the audio profile going, not the standard video one. We make our way into the depths, and we're here for one key reason at this time. Green Titanite shards. Yes, we can get them more efficiently later in Blighttown. But the plan involves getting a divine punchy glove. Oh, hey Kirk. Hang on, I'll get back to that point in a sec. He's also important for the run, just later. You'll see. Anyway, why specifically a divine PG? Because the plan involves making my way through the catacombs about, now. Granted, making a weapon divine will weaken its damage in standard scaling while adding the corresponding damage type and any relevant scaling. So for divine, it adds faith scaling. But there are necromancers there who will keep reanimating the undead unless they're dealt with. But if you slay the skeleton Sams with a divine weapon before you slay the necromancer, they'll stay down. I've no need for this weapon other than here and a bit later down the line, so while it sucks, if I switch to it when I score the last hit on some bony boys, the effect is all the same. Speaking of bony boys, say hi to this gentleman.
Be gone with you.
I ask him really nicely to light one of my punchy gloves on fire, which removes scaling entirely by the by, and head deeper into the catacombs. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh piss! I have to deal with Wheelie Wesley on my way through, the worst of the bony boys. Thankfully, I navigate past them okay in spite of trauma, and then get to deal with Pinwheel. He's, I mean, just take a look. It's not a hard fight, with boxing gloves. Totally on purpose forgot his mask, because what good are any of them? And with a lucky drop from one of the necromancers, I cut my way through the Tomb of Giants and leap to my prize, the covetous silver serpent ring. Okay, well, that's one way to get home. Now, to propose a straw man. You may look at this and think to yourself, oh, Mono went and made this challenge easy because he got the ring super early. To the straw man in my script, I ask you, is it not the point of playing a challenge to use what resources you can while playing under a certain set of rules? While there is the spirit of the challenge to consider, provided a tool does not null the challenge and make the rules moot, then it's fair game. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about why hacking rare candies into Nuzlocke is based. Moving on. With a fancy silver serpent coiled around my finger, we head back to the depths to take on the boss of the area. I fought bigger. Scarier. I meant scarier. I'm gonna shut up now. The Gaping Dragon, as folks who played through Dark Souls may know, is not a particularly hard fight. It's mostly a tedious one. And that's if you handled the wizard above. Otherwise, bear in mind, this guy has a wonky hitbox. Get in real snug when you punch his legs, and he'll go down soon enough. Now, I could have gone through the back door to Blighttown and avoided it altogether, but that just wouldn't be fair to the challenge now, would it? I fucking hate this place. While my recorded footage would make this place fairly trivial, it's just not a fun experience for this early in the game, even on a normal run. To my tastes, enemies are numerous, tanky, and hard-hitting, letting me bring to bear one of my bigger complaints of Dark Souls. Enemy design. Specifically placement. Like, no, I don't find it fun that I have to deal with 2 scrungly-looking monsters while some dude in wooden armor is shooting blow darts with toxic tips. The game thus asks the player to slow down, take encounters with thought, and be careful about getting in over your head. Just in Blighttown, I feel there are a few places to do that, which won't just kill the whole flow and pacing of the game. And while it's not the only time the player is asked to slow down, it's far from the last that doesn't give the player much room to breathe. Granted, it's intentional design. The odds are stacked against you, but you can win. Just bashed my head into the wall a few times. That is precisely why, in spite of what you may think, I'm actually not a big fan of Dark Souls. Where was I? Oh, right! Blighttown. We pick up Power Within, but I don't need you. We don't even technically not cheat at boxing here. And make the rest of the way down into the swamps. Pick a fight with a woman with a giant machete and a bag over her head, and then say hello to this man with my second 5,000 souls! What the actual fuck, man? Ah, fine. One quick grinding session later, and I have enough to buy 1 claw. The supplementary fist weapon of the run. They have incredible dex scaling and poor strength scaling, but this results in them outperforming the punchy gloves when you keep strength and dex equal, even at the soft cap of 40 in each stat. Now, this doesn't mean they're better. As an example, I'd like to highlight that the Skeleton Sams are explicitly weak to blunt damage and resist stabbing and slashing damage. And though claws have slightly more reach, they trade that out for less poise damage. What claws have that PGs don't? Bleed damage, which we'll take advantage of. You'll see. But enough about that. It's time to fight a spider. A sexy spider lady, even. Go back down. Hey, come on! I'm missing the best parts! Quaylog. Once you've the muscle memory for her, isn't too awful a boss fight. Don't get me wrong, stand in the wrong place at the wrong time, or run into lava like a doofus. Who would do that? And you'll take damage like nobody's business. Stay vigilant and patient. That's one less arachnid to worry about. With both bells rung, and my weapons more or less appropriately upgraded, I think it's time we went back to our old stomping grounds. Trouble is, we did leave by bird, and I'm not entirely sure how to get back. Genius. Ah! Huh? We make it back to the Undead Asylum, make sure to not forget the doll, then fall on down to the Stray Demon, and with the mighty power of my PG, I will slay this! This is seriously going to be a repeat of the first boss fight with the Asylum Demon, isn't it? Well, it would be, if I didn't have claws. And this, ladies and gentlemen and your majesties, is why you don't fuck with monks. Enough procrastinating time to cut through Sans Fortress of Fun. Oh joy, do I have lots and lots and lots of fun here. Seriously though, besides a number of hiccups, it goes okay. But the boss of this place, oh Nelly, you would not believe how many attempts it took me to kick the Iron Golem's ass. He's just a monster of a boss fight. I'm still surprised they never retroactively nerfed him so he was easier to cut the feet. Not trying to make a joke, that doesn't always work the first time! Cheese or non-cheese aside, we're whisked away on a magic demon ride to Anor Londo, where I pick up the Dragon Bone Fist using the Giant Soul. Believe it or not, among the dragon weapons in this game, the Fist is probably one of the better ones, though Fist weapons in general are a low bar to overcome. It scales pretty much purely on strength and does monstrous damage as a result. It also houses a special heavy attack that's a Shoryuken! Downsides? It's heavy as hell. And unlike other soul-related weapons, it requires dragon scales to upgrade. Oh, and 5,000 souls a level. It's not just because of that I'm gonna let this one sit by the wayside, but they certainly don't help. Soon after I get that, I let myself get sidetracked after touching a painting. Wait, what do I mean by... Ah! Bad touch! Let me... Waking up within the painted world, we march through the cold and snow to open up the way out of here, making great use of our burning punchy glove as we go. We also do stare down one King Jeremiah, and, I like the cut of his clothes. And I'm more a fan of the color white when it comes to tops, but yellow works, I suppose. We reach the soft cap for strength and dex, and we climb down a ladder so we can open up a weird locking mechanism at... Is that? Rattling bones, I hear. You know, I think I could live here for the rest of the time. It's not that cold, nor is it that unpleasant. After opening up the gates to the end of the area, we meet the fluffiest waifu this side of Dark Souls.
This land is peaceful. Its inhabitants kind.
Ma'am, if this is kindness, I don't want to know what their malice looks like. I get to work pissing off the Dark Souls fanbase by engaging her in mortal combat. Sadly, I will not get to keep her tail as a memento. I do, however, get a piece of Fashion Souls on my way out. Thanks, Jeremiah! Jeremiah won't fight you in Demon Souls! We work our way back into the inside of the castle, briefly hypnotized by magic demons marching in a line. And then march down the royal hallway to face the most royal pain in the ass this side of Souls game. Ornstein and Smo. This is another one of my points of contention with the overall design of Dark Souls, specifically this game. This boss fight, straight up unfair, methinks. Fights where you deal with more than one boss at a time, generally unfair, unless there's some sort of gimmick. With how wide and wild some of their respective attacks are, it's impressive they didn't turn on friendly fire for this fight. And yes, I do understand the intention. It ups the difficulty, the stakes, so you'll feel better overcoming this seemingly insurmountable challenge. It just doesn't do anything for me. Otherwise, let's talk strategy. Oreo is quick and on point and will generally try to get in your face first. Plus, it's good to react in kind and be aggressive. We don't have a shield to hide behind, just dodges. Smorgasbord, on the other hand, will rush in to provide supporting swings with Oreo in the front, so stay back, stay locked off, so you can watch them both. Focusing Smorgasbord isn't generally the best strategy, but in the instances where he's consistently taking the lead, whatever works, works. Oreo isn't particularly weak to bleed, but Smorgasbord is, so once I beat the tar out of Oreo, Smorgasbord is left to face the fury of my claws. And once the fight's down to 1, it's simply a matter of time before the big guy is left drowning in a literal pool of his own blood. So we pick up the MacGuffin of this adventure, and then with Dark Moon Seance on hand, we follow that up with Gwendolyn.
What foolishness.
Look, dude, you're a boss, and I demand a challenge. Frankly, a paltry footnote of a boss fight. Dodge and weave side to side and close the gap when you can. Once you're close, pop them in the jaw however many times you manage, and soon enough, the dark sun is washed with the rain. I take a trip underground with Frompt. What does he mean by don't move? Place the vessel on the altar, and then, time for the end game. Let's tackle the easiest route, and the stuff to complete the build first. Demon Ruins into Izalith. Oh, how I loathe thee for a myriad of reasons. Ceaseless Discharge with his lack of Punchy Gloves. Gives me a good whopping, but with my boosted health, nothing I can't handle. Now, is this the intended way forward, or... We say hi to Kirk. I'm coming for those gloves, boy. I won't keep you waiting. And without repeating myself too much regarding the Demon Fire Sage, we go deeper into the earth to the giant pool of lava to face off against the Centipede Demon. Which I challenge him to face me on the high ground. He should know he can't win. New jewelry on hand, I stomp across the lava and burn my boots to cinders, and face off against Kirk for the final time. Look, you can't just call in help from the last Witch of Izalith. It doesn't help you anyway. With that, we pay a visit to Quelaag's sister and pick up our reward, the Thorn set. Now, I'm not interested in the majority of the set, but the gauntlets? Very interested. They don't do much for us. They give us the same amount of damage as our bare hands, and we all saw how much that was against the Asylum Demon. But it's on top of whatever damage you're doing with your fist weapon. So while it's only plus 2 damage per punch, that's for every punch. And 2 more damage adds up fast that way. Oh, and now my rolls can do damage when I collide with an enemy, which kind of flies in the face of the challenge a little. But I ask you, is a fist weapons challenge not a challenge in which you make your body the weapon? I close my case. It's not going to matter for the first big boss fight of the run anyway. The Bed of Chaos. Go to the right, then go to the left, then run center field and touch down on the giant bug! So I get that people say this fight is hard, but like, that's literally all you have to do. Oh, and die twice, I guess. Let's finish our business in the catacomb, shall we? Back to the Tomb of Giants. Okay, hang about. Why are you just standing there?
There's a fine stash of treasure right down that hole.
Huh. Alright, sounds good. But I don't get why you're letting me have the— You son of a bitch! This is why we have trust issues these days. This is entirely the sort of attitude jovial pranksters will have, and then cop out by claiming it was a joke. I could have died and lost my humanity!
I did you wrong, but I didn't mean it. These temptations, they can, well, overcome me. You know what I mean, don't you? Please, forgive me.
You do this to me again, or to anyone else, and I will not be happy. Do you understand me? I get my hands on the big Divine Ember, show Leroy why monks are better than paladins, and upgrade the Divine PG to plus 10, marking it the first fully upgraded weapon in my arsenal. You'll see why in a second. We march back through the Tomb of Giants, pass by all the Pinwheel clones, and drop down into the Bone Zone to give the Grand Necromancer a sandwich full of knuckles. It's Nito time. So remember how the Bony Boys would rise back up when a Necromancer was still standing? Same rule applies for this fight. So to even the odds a bit, my Holy Fist is here to knock them down for good. Ha! Bet you didn't see that coming, you calcified collection of cadavers! Besides Nito's henchmen, the fight's not hard since his attacks are incredibly slow and highly telegraphed. Easy, boss. Please buff. No! Put me down! I am not a toy! We drain the waters of New Londo ruins for an impressively large ember, then take a quick detour to try my hand at monster hunting, and rescue a lady from a golden golem. Huh. I think that'd be on the agenda today. Then I rush past Anne Orlando to the Duke's archives, pick up a pretty bauble, and accept Seath's invitation to change his mind that wizards are stronger than monks. He had a good argument. What? You didn't think I'd come to this debate unprepared, did you? I break out of jail and storm through the archive into the Crystal Caves, and with the shortest hop, skip, and a jump you could imagine, after dealing with some cantankerous clams, Seath accepts my invite to prove that wizards are in fact weaker than monks. Yeah, not so tough without your immortality, MacGuffin, are ya? Seath is not hard either. Surprisingly, stay locked off, watch for his head movement, get out of close range when he attacks, then close the gap again. Occasionally use a big AoE, but frankly, no troubles here. The next boss might bring some troubles, though. We first redirect ourselves to Darkroot Garden to put on a brave face as I face the good girl to an incredible warrior, Sif. With her accursed hitbox being relegated to just her legs as far as my reach is concerned, staying locked off is the best choice, though swinging wildly is not something I would consider a wise choice. Eventually, we put her down to return to her master. I'm not crying, you're crying. With Artorias' ring in hand, we return to New Londo ruins and start to punch our way through the cult members, looking for rocks and a brief moment of grinding, but also to make our way through. Huh, wasn't looking for that. Ladies, gentlemen, and your majesties, the final fist weapon. This one is a strange one, because it has a special humanity drain attack for a strong attack in the main hand, and then the light attack on the offhand is dedicated to a 75% mitigation shield for all damage types, while the parry is, well, still a parry. It also just does a flat 200 damage before armor, making it the strongest fist weapon without upgrading. Downsides? You just can't upgrade it for one, and it has 0 scaling for 2. So there's no real way to manipulate the damage on this, though it would be useful in the shield aspect. Feels a bit too magical. Kinda spoils the spirit of the challenge. Not gonna use it. With jewelry on hand and suited up to face the terrors of the Abyss, we dive into hell itself to face the worst designed boss by far. The Four Kings. Why is it the worst? Simple. It's a DPS check, to put it reductively. Seriously, it's a race against time. Oh yeah, sure, I can dodge through all the attacks and give some genuine thought to going in and ducking out of attacks. But when the stone armor set mitigates so much damage and staying close lets you get hit by the hilt of the weapon, which deals minimal damage anyway, I find it a no-brainer approach to the fight to maximize damage. The only issue is that our damage is too low to keep the fight relegated to one king at a time, so there's some time for other king to possibly sink some pot shots. We make it through easily. First try. Only losing 3 humanity for my trouble. Which leaves us the DLC. The challenge run wouldn't be complete if we didn't do the DLC as well. We march through the Darkroot Basin, after dealing with Havel, and find a strange portal of darkness. Okay, I remember what happened when I touched something mysterious and foreboding. I'm not touching this one. God damn it! Why does this always happen to me? Okay, first boss fight of the DLC. Sanctuary Guardian. I can't for the life of me figure out why I'm rolling, but we do okay in spite of that. We find our window to slash the crap out of the Manticore with our own claws, and thanks to the bleed procs, it goes down in short order. We race into Ulaseal to pick up everything that isn't nailed down, and come up to my favorite boss fight in Dark Souls to date, against Artorias. This is a well-designed fight. Granted, his hitboxes are a little wonky, and I still haven't figured out what the hell is causing me to medium roll. Oh. Oops. Must have thought these were the Thorn Gauntlets for the Four Kings fight. My bad. So, strategy time. Honestly, at this point, it's better to stay locked off than it is to lock on at all. It gives you more mobility for your rolls, which is about the only way I can see how to avoid his attacks in the first place. Find your brief windows and throw 1 or 2 punches. Claws aren't recommended because he has a power-up move. Run up and punch him 5 times in a row to stagger him and break his animation from completing. Keep that in mind and get your punches amidst the tight timing, and your health and your spirits will stay high in the face of this adversity. He's a tough fight, but he exemplifies what Dark Souls' boss design wants the player to feel. I salute it. Rest in peace, good sir. You were a worthy foe. After we deal with the corrupted townsfolk in Artorias' place, we make our way deeper and deeper into the town. We find ourselves back in the Abyss. No jewelry needed this time. We're here for something dangerous, deadly. Most importantly, I just want to talk to the dastard that dragged me in here. Uh-oh. Sweet Gwyn, not again! Ugh. Oh, good. Manus. It's you and me, pal. Strangely, this fight went pretty well. Especially considering I don't religiously play Dark Souls, so I figured I'd be pretty rusty. And while there was certainly rust, it didn't muck up my play enough to really matter. With handy amulet in hand to repel his dark beat attacks, I deliver the final blow and destroy the Father of the Abyss. Ah! Yeah, 2 more bosses to go. How hard could they be? Seriously? Attacking me from where I can't reach you? Well, 2 can play this game. Go! Bring it down! Holy shit! I didn't think that'd actually work! Don't fuck with rangers! Well, down goes the dragon. Time to fight Calamite for real now. I would have sworn to you this fight would take me a few tries, but I managed to stay out of his psychic grab attack and, thanks to my growing health pool, survive the majority of his onslaught otherwise. As long as I didn't get stuck in his breath attack, I was golden. DLC conquered. Time for the ending. Yeah. Really gotta be careful about that. Might strip someone's flesh off that way. With the 4 souls placed and the kiln of the first flame open to us, it's time to put this challenge run to rest. Gwyn, the final boss. And what a joke of one he is. Just parry, repose, rinse and repeat. With that, all our worries will be... Okay, second time's the charm. Why now? On the literal easiest fight in the game. Fine. 3rd time's the bloody charm. Oy vey, thank Gwyn. Now we're left with a choice. Considering what we saw an Empire do in a previous adventure, I'll think about it while I talk about the challenge. Let's be real here. This is an eye-opening challenge run if you've never done something like this in Dark Souls before. The limited range, the change in damage type from many commonly picked blade weapons, you'll find that this game's pretty well designed to let players play in any way they like, be it easier or harder than the other playstyles. Hell, you could say that's the point. It's meant to encourage experimentation. Are you stuck? Try a different weapon. You can learn a thing or 6 just by trying something different. It's flawed, and you can't backtrack your levels, so restarts might be frequent. But that said, going the whole game with just fist weapons is not for the faint of heart. I've done this run before privately, which is part of why I knew so much of what to do and why I opted not to use the Dragonbone Fist. I'm well practiced and researched by comparison to many others. But it's a tasty brew, if a bit bitter. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and stay tuned for more. Mono will return in another adventure. So for now, please remember, you're always welcome here at Mono's Potion, and I'll see you next time. Was there a third option? Because I don't want this.